Hey, Julie, do you think an employee's marketplace is better than an employer's marketplace?
Both definitely have pros and cons. The pros right now is that we're getting a number of job orders every day. We're very, very busy, which is very exciting. A lot of startups are definitely growing. It's very, very exciting to work in that field, but it's much more difficult to find the quality top talent, especially when companies really want passive candidates. On the flip side, when it was an employee's market, when it was the employer's market, it was very difficult to get jobs. And Kevin, I think you were just saying something about that, what your experience was.
Yeah, I remember in 2008, 2009, calling on companies and looking for job orders. And instead of job orders, they'd be asking me if I could help them place their employees because they just had a massive layoff. So that was a frustrating part and also a sad part.
And also, some of your employers, the contacts, were looking for jobs as well.
Oh, yeah.
And you felt like a pit in your stomach. You're like, here I'm trying to get a job, and they're looking for a job.
Exactly.
And it was very, very tough.
I didn't know if it would come back. The market would come back, but it's come back.
To almost full capacity. We're at record unemployment, and while it makes our job harder, it is better on everyone, on the economy, on the companies, and it's always a good position for companies to be looking for talent and the other way.
Yes.
And also when we were dealing with an employer's market, a lot of our competitors went out of business because they couldn't get jobs, and you had to think out of the box and be creative on how do you get companies to work with you. That was probably the most difficult time we ever had, but
it's one of our leaner times as well, but we survived, and we survived in part because we went into the temp industry, if you remember. They could not hire full-time employees, so they used our services for temporary services instead.
Right, at the time they were using temp business much more than they do today. It seems like there's not as many temp jobs as when we first started in the industry.
At least on Long Island.
Yeah. And I think that's also because a lot of candidates don't want to work temporary jobs now. They're all looking for a full-time job.
Because of the benefits.
Exactly, benefits and the unemployment, low unemployment. So,
right.
But that's why now we have to work harder and try to find those passive candidates. You're not going to get too many candidates from a job posting. It's a matter of really searching for the candidates through the different tools that we have.
And I think one of the common mistakes employers make is that they think that they can post on Indeed or Monster or what have you and recruit for themselves, trying to save a small fee on the search. But in the long run, because they don't do it full time like we do, and they don't know what to look for like just the way we do, I think they're better off using an agency than going out on their own.
Right, and that's a really good point. A lot of companies would ask, well, why should I work with you and pay a fee when I could do this myself? But then they'll turn around and say, oh, I really get it now.
Because they make mistakes.
Right, they make mistakes and they don't really understand how to screen properly. They also don't understand how to use all the different resources that we have today. And it's not just about the resources, it's not just about the job boards. It's having a lot of referrals, because we've been in the business for so long. We all have huge network of candidates that we've developed over the years.
Exactly, in our database.
It can be a very costly mistake if you hire the wrong person. As opposed to paying a small fee and getting the right person and come there.
Right. And the other thing I always hear from my contacts at companies is, I cannot do what you're doing. It's so time consuming. I'd rather spend my time in other areas of the business, like making money and keeping our company going, while I have a staffing firm that's going to concentrate on finding top talent, because we don't have the time to do that. So that's where the advantage is of working with a recruiting firm.
Yeah, and I find that I work with some very large manufacturing and pharmaceutical companies, but I work with some small companies with less than 20 employees, and they utilize us because they don't have an HR department. And you can't have the owner of the shop interviewing people all day long and posting jobs on a job board. They need somebody to do that. They don't have the time to do that. Their time is too valuable.
Yeah, and even if they do have an HR person, there are other responsibilities. The HR person, of all the HR people I speak to, recruiting is on their lowest list of priorities or interests. They have other competing things that they're getting pulled into within the company, and recruiting kind of falls behind.
The other thing I wanted to mention too is that when I do start working with a new company and I say to the contact, so have you worked with staffing firms before? They would say yes, and I'd say, right away, I want to know, what did you like about them? What didn't you like? And what I usually hear is that a lot of recruiters out there just like to throw resumes to them without properly screening, and they waste their time. That's the number one request I have from companies is, don't waste our time. Get us the right person as soon as possible. We want quality. We want passive candidates. We don't want the people that are out there, job hoppers, or
yes.
out there on the boards for a long period of time.
How many how many recruiters do meet companies even? Like
Right.
From the beginning, we take the time to get to know the company, not just the candidate.
Right.
So we know what the company is looking for, as well as we know what the candidate is looking for. So it should match.
And one of the things too that I think we're really good at, and Kevin, you're excellent at this too, and Shivani, the three of us are really, really good at, is follow up. I think that's the key. The most important requirement for a good recruiter is to constantly follow up and keep everybody on the same page and managing expectations. That's probably the most important in finding success and making placements.
And that goes into why all three of us get a lot of repeat business too, because we do the right thing the first time and the companies know that we get what they're looking for.
Right. We're very thorough in our process in getting the right job description. Also, educating the company on the salary that they're looking to offer. Maybe, educating them on what their competitors are paying for the same type of position.
And generally the marketplace, you cannot expect to find certain types of technical people on Long Island. Long Island is a very unique marketplace. We are not suggesting that we only do Long Island, but that goes into educating our companies, our clients, about what they can expect to find.
Yes.
And I think, like you mentioned before about the salary, I find that to be so important to know the pay rate of what's out there. For instance, like, CNC machinists, somebody say, well, I only want to pay $22 an hour, but I'll say the going rate's $26 an hour. They may find somebody for $22 an hour, but then that person doesn't show up to work. Exactly. The person doesn't show up to work, and they quit after a few weeks because somebody offered them $24 an hour.
Right.
I try to educate them on you have to pay the going rate. And that makes candidates stay at the firm a long time, and everybody's happy.
And you know what else, Kevin, that's great about you is that you are so not aggressive. Like a lot of recruiters, we have bad names in the industry.
Yeah.
Like, oh, did you know that shark at that staffing firm? You're very, you have a way about you that you have a great relationship and trusting. You have a very trusting way about you that a lot of recruiters don't have out there. And companies are going to listen to you when you say, look, you got to pay this rate.
Yeah. No, I think it's true. It's been in the business a long time and developing relationships.
Mm-hmm.